1-2-3.
Must be something of a relief to get the job done a bit quicker today.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, any match you play, the quicker you get it done, the better, especially in these events when, over best of 5, it can go long. So, yeah, it was nice to win quickly today. I spoke a bit about that the other day. If it was possible to get this one done quickly, it gives me a chance to kind of recover from the first few days, which is good.
In some ways, Andy, is it easier when you know what you're going to get with Karlovic? You played him a lot of times, whereas the qualifier you didn't know that well, and Stepanek has a kind of unpredictable streak. So is it easier to plan for a match like this a bit?
Well, it's a matchup that I like. I mean, I've had good success against him in the past, and I've always enjoyed playing against, serving volleyers normally. So, yeah, I mean, obviously it's a bit easier. I didn't know my opponent in the second round. I'd never really seen him play a match, which makes things, can make things a bit tricky. But today was different.
And physically, Andy, how did you pull up yesterday, and how are you feeling now?
I felt okay today, actually. Yesterday I was a bit tired. I had a very light practice yesterday, and just tried to sort of keep my feet up and recover as best as possible. Tried to get as much sleep as I could. Spent a lot of time with the physio, and then just resting to try and give myself the best chance to feel good today.
This might seem a daft question after the amount of time you've been on court, but I just wondered, there was so little rhythm in that match, whether you might even consider hitting a few balls.
No, not today. I think, obviously, still recovering a little bit from the first few days of the tournament. So good, like I said, to get off the court quickly, rest up, and if I need to have a slightly longer practice tomorrow. But I did feel a bit better on the court today than I did the first couple of days. I know it was a different match, different game style, but I felt a little bit better, which is good.
And having Sophia here, obviously the first Grand Slam since you became a dad, has that sort of changed your routine for slams, or has it sort of been the same as normal?
No, it's been pretty much the same as normal. Yeah, it hasn't changed much.
Andy, if it is John Isner in the next round, how does obviously he's got a great serve, but how does his game differ to that of Ivo?
No, I mean, John plays a bit more from the baseline. He's a bit more consistent from the back of the court. It doesn't volley as well. So yeah, they're obviously both two big guys with great serves, but they're quite different really in the way that they play and the way they hit the ball. Ivo obviously uses predominantly slice off his backhand. John, doesn't use the slice as much. He's maybe a bit more patient from the back of the court. Ivo, when he gets a forehand, he tries to finish the point, immediately. So quite different game styles, even though they're both big guys.
Andy, looking ahead to the next match, and maybe, I know you don't look beyond, but is there anything you're particularly happy with? Is it just like the way you've bounced back after a couple of difficult matches?
Well, I think, today a lot of, obviously a lot of it comes down to sort of sharpness and explosiveness. It's not so much kind of the endurance or the long points that, you need to worry about. And today, from the beginning of the match, I was, got off to a quick start. I was seeing the serve well, which, if you're getting good looks on returns against Ivo, then there's a good chance, moving forward that, be getting, good looks on other players' serves. So that was positive for me. Didn't really have any lapses today, which, in a match when there's not so much rhythm, and, even though it probably doesn't seem like it from watching in the stands, every time you go up to serve, there's a little bit extra pressure because he's such a hard guy to break, and, didn't give him any breakpoint opportunities, very few unforced errors. So, there was a lot of positives from today's match.
Andy, you've talked about some of the pressures you've felt
this week since you've come here, and we know what some of those are. Have you felt any particular pressure from being one of the favourites before you arrived, simply on the back of your performance at the Masters before you got here?
No, I think, I went through that last year here as well, and I've probably done that many times over the last kind of 8 or 9 years, at Wimbledon and, Australian Open. It's not really something that worries me too much before the start of events. I think that, the thing that's difficult as well is I've never actually, played that much on the clay in the build-up to the French, so, it's kind of difficult to know exactly what to do. For me, normally I get here on like the Monday and practice pretty hard. This time I arrived Tuesday night, didn't start hitting till Wednesday afternoon, and was not, sure necessarily how much time to spend on the court, how much time to rest, and that was a new experience for me. But that, in terms of pressure, nothing's changed there.
Andy, you gave us a bit of French on court. Are you having steak and chips and salad every night? And when you're in a city like Paris, do you take advantage of the, its culinary heritage, of the particular things you eat here, or do you have to stick to a real routine of exactly the same things because you're playing every other day?
I mean, I don't eat the same thing every night. Last night I had salmon, salad, some potatoes. That was what I had last night, and then some nights we've had sushi. We're staying in a house, so we've had some takeaway. Some of the nights we've cooked in, and yeah, just depends what I'm going to be eating that night, or depends also when you get finished as well. Because when you finish late and stuff, obviously a little bit easier to eat in rather than go out. But today I'll probably go out for dinner, seeing as I finished early.
And just back on the next match, if Isner doesn't win, what about Gabashvili? What sort of challenge would he provide?
No, well, I lost to him in Washington last year, and I've known him for a very long time because he grew up playing a few of the same junior events, and then he also trained at Sanchez Casal a little bit when I was there too. Very big hitter of the ball. He really goes for his shots. He's a very explosive player. Hits big off both wings. Obviously serve is not as strong as John's. That's probably the weaker part of his game, but he had a good run here last year. I think he made 4th round last year and lost to Kay, so he obviously likes the conditions here, and he's a tough player.
And then I know you've spoken about some of the younger guys before. I was wondering if what are your thoughts on Dominic Thiem and Sasha Zverev in particular? They're playing for a 3rd time in like 4 weeks, so can you just give some thoughts on them and who's more impressive perhaps to you?
Yeah, I mean both of them are obviously very good. I think Zverev's obviously a little bit younger, quite different sort of body shapes, body types. Teams I think probably prefers the clay court. Zverev, I would imagine, probably prefers a slightly quicker courts. Dominic moves extremely well. He's very fast, but he also plays quite far behind the baseline with a lot of spin. Zverev a little bit different, hits the ball a bit flatter. Both of them have very good backhands. Forehand, I think, from Zverev can still improve quite a bit. But yeah, they're two of the best ones. I mean, teams getting up close to the top 10 has had a very good year so far, and Zverev, is winning matches most weeks now. But yeah, they'll be playing against each other a lot, I would imagine, over the next 10, 15 years.
Did you get a chance to see any of Aliage's match yesterday, and do you feel he can give Novak a tough match tomorrow?
I didn't see any of the match yesterday. I didn't see any of it. He obviously did well to get through because Carreño's, very good on the clay. I think I read that was the first time Alias made the 3rd round of a slam. I think so. That's good progress for him and positive step. Now obviously a huge challenge against Novak, but he can go out there and have a clear game plan and go for it. Not hold back at all. Obviously, there's not so much pressure on him there, which can help. But yeah, I mean, whether he wins the match or not, obviously Novak goes in as a big favourite. But why not? Just go out there and give it your best shot. And I know how matches can get tough here. So hopefully he gets it off to a good start and he can do well.
Just getting back to your culinary delights here. Jon Tiriac, who, as you know, sits probably closest to the court than anyone, is convinced you had a stomach upset during the Borger match. Were his eyes deceiving him, or?
I was having a little bit of trouble, yeah. I don't know why. I didn't really have a stomach upset. I was struggling to keep the fluids that I was drinking down in the match. So, but it wasn't like a stomach upset. I didn't come off the match, and I wasn't having to go off to the loo whilst I was playing. But yeah, I was just having trouble when I was drinking. It was coming back up quite quickly. So I don't really know what happened there.